How much money has my game Shafted made 4 months post-launch? Well, in this video, I'm going to break that down for you, and I'm also going to break down the journey and what it took to make the game. So please, enjoy. Before we get too much further, in the description is the exact moment that we talk about the financials of the game, how much money we made, or lost. And if you don't really care about all the rest of the video, you can just go to the description and jump right there. But the rest of the video is really good for anybody who is an aspiring game developer, an indie developer, solo developer, or somebody who maybe has a lot of development experience, maybe can offer me some advice. So, without any further ado, we're going to jump right in. So, to get started, if you're not a fan of the channel and you don't know who I am, I'm Throbby, and this is Large Lads Studios. We're developers, but our first game that we made was actually solo, made by me. It is made in Unreal. It is called Shafted. It is a horror game, tense, walking around, a very... I guess the idea for the game was like the old Slenderman game. That was kind of my vibe. I want to walk around, collect things, have a scary monster come chase me, and get scared. So that was the baseline of the game, and that was what I set out to create. The goal for this game was not to actually make money, it was to learn. I had never developed anything, especially on Unreal. I'd used Godot in the past, and kind of hit a wall here and there on several different projects. So I told myself I have to set this cycle. I have 2 months to make a game and release it. So I put it on myself to do everything in 2 months and have my whole release cycle. So this is not the way you should release a game if you're trying to be profitable, but it did accelerate my learning experience a lot. I think something that's important to note is that I did not have any formal training at all. I am not a coder. I did not know how to code. I don't make assets. I really have no background game knowledge whatsoever. It's totally just me wanting to make a game. I used a lot of YouTube tutorials to learn Unreal. And a big thing that I actually used is a website called Udemy. And on Udemy, there are tons and tons and tons of really in-depth Unreal projects, and people will show you exactly what to do for any kind of game, basically, that you can think of. So I took full advantage of Udemy. Udemy has lots of sales. A lot of these, if you go on Udemy right now, I'm not really sure what the price of things are going to be, but you'll see a lot of trainings are like maybe like $90. They'll go on sale for 10 or 15 bucks. So I bought up a bunch of Udemy projects, went through it all, learned as much as I could, crammed as much as I could to develop this game. Now, with all of that out, you guys know I'm not an expert, and I will say, how hard was this game to make? Actually, not the hardest. It is very limited in mechanics. There's a reason that I chose horror to start, is because there's limited mechanics in horror. This game only required a walking around ability, the ability to pick up and store items in an inventory system, AI for the monster to come find me, and then just really setting up environments and making things kind of spooky. Now, the game is super buggy. I'll put the link in the description if you guys want to check it out. It's on sale right now. It is not a good game. I will tell you that now. If you buy it, it is not a good game. You actually can buy it and complete it and refund it if you guys want. It is not a long game. It is not a good game. There's probably lots of game-breaking bugs. The idea for this game was just to see if I can make a game full stop from start to finish, totally by myself. And then that was kind of a test to say, okay, well, am I going to ramp this up and make a real game that's a good game? And that's exactly what we are doing currently, but we'll talk about that later. I plug at every video. If you guys are subscribers, you guys already know Winter Reach Emporium, but we'll talk more about that later. And when I say 2 months, I really mean less than 2 months. If you look here, I actually officially made the Steam on June 25th. I think I started around June 14th, and the game launched on August 1st, or really August or July 31st, but it was really about 6 weeks is how long it took me to make this game. If you really grind a lot of stuff out, you can do stuff really, really quick, as long as you're not dealing with super complex systems and you just have enough time and you're like a super nerd, right? You can just sit here and just do as much as you can. So here is our total wish lists ever, is 267. It had about 80 wish lists on launch. So if you have that's a very low number if you're not aware. If you have a low number like that, don't really expect much for the launch. I'll tell you, we got about 15 sales on the launch. We'll jump in here. Actually, we'll do it now. I'll stop I'll stop grinding this video out for you. So our lifetime conversion rate is 6%, meaning 6% of our wish lists actually became sales, which is an okay number, actually. Generally, you want it to be higher, though. You want it to be around 10% is kind of what's considered good. We can jump over here and go view our sales and our lifetime sales. Gross revenue is $133. The net is $106. We've sold 36 units, had 7 returned. Lifetime active users, 26. Wish list, 191. Median time played, 15 minutes. This game's probably... It's funny, 15 minutes is actually pretty good because the game probably takes about 20 to 30 max, so the average person is completing half the game. So, granted, it's not a lot of people, but this is the full numbers here. We made $133. Of that 133, we actually only made 106, but it cost me $100 to put the game up. So, my 6 weeks of work made me an astounding $6. Now, why it's not really a big deal, and I'm very positive about it, is because, again, like I said, it was never meant to make money. This was meant to be a jumping off point, a learning point, and kind of just to... I'm the kind of person where if I don't give myself a deadline or force myself to do something, I kind of just won't do it and I'll procrastinate it. So I told myself, you have until this date to release this game in whatever state it's in. It released in not a great state, and it just is what it is. I learned a ton along the way here, okay? When I started developing this game, I actually didn't really have an issue with using AI assets or anything like that. And I totally flipped the script after kind of diving into it more and really experiencing why it takes away from a game so much. So with that being said, this game, there is AI assets. There is AI, I don't want to say, I guess you consider it to be AI artwork in the on the Steam page. You'll notice that when you see it. And then I actually use some AI tools to create 3D models for the monster specifically. Everything else is handmade. But when I made this one, I didn't really have an issue with using AI. Now I've totally flipped the script. I said, I think it takes away a lot from the finished product. And our new game, Winter Reach Emporium, obviously does not have any AI assets in it for that reason. I don't know. I'm kind of an AI hater now, but I don't want to make this a video about AI. So what's so important? What's so good? What did I learn so much? I think just the entire cycle. The reason this is good is because if you just create 15 to 25, 30% of a game on repeat, which is what I was doing for a while, I would prototype and then be done. Prototype and then be done. Prototype and then be done. You don't learn the full scope. And you don't learn the mistakes that you make, and then you're bound to make them eventually. Maybe you're not. Who knows? Maybe you're like the GOAT. But I wasn't the GOAT. So all of those initial launch mistakes I made with this game, and hopefully I don't have to, repeat again. Our other game, Winter Reach Emporium, has well over 2,000 wish lists, and we look to make a nice little chunk of change on that one. But again, that's not what this video is about. It's about this game. So I made $6. My takeaway is it was worth doing, and I recommend that. This thing about making slop games, I kind of recommend you make a slop game as your first game. I know a lot of people will say, well, you want to make a good game that takes a short amount of time. But if you're a beginner, you can't do both. It's either going to take you a long time to make an okay game, because even if you're a beginner, you're probably not going to make a very good game, regardless. Or you can crunch out a slop game and learn and soak in as much as you can the first time, and then you can end up with a nice finished product. And eventually, rather, not with this one. I would not consider this a nice finished product. But I kind of just thought it was important to talk about. I know I haven't talked game dev on this channel a lot. And then time to plug our game, Winter Reach Emporium. So Winter Reach Emporium is a fantasy cozy ski shop manager set on a high mountain peak, again in a fantasy world with tons of different fantasy races. You'll contend with tons of different systems, stocking, ordering, weather systems, managing your staff, research upgrades, festivals, shortages, shifting demands, and you also have a unique modifying system that we've implemented in the game, which is basically to have a reputation system for the different races in this fantasy world. Think goblins, orcs, do they like your shop? Maybe they do, maybe they don't, and it's going to affect how much they come to your shop. So all of these things are implemented in Winter Reach Emporium, and we can't wait. If you're a fan of management style games, simulator style games, this is the game for you. Well, guys, if you stuck around to this point, please like, comment, subscribe, wishlist Winter Reach Emporium. Probably don't buy this game. If you do, seriously refund it. I won't feel bad about it. I just really appreciate everybody, all the support we've gotten up to this point. We're trying to grow the studio. We're trying to grow the channel. So please, like I said, like, comment, subscribe, and wish list. Those are the biggest things you can do to help us. I appreciate you guys watching up to this point, and have a good day.